Senator Sanders, do you believe that God is relevant? Why or why not?
Well, the answer is yes. And I think when we talk about God, whether it is Christianity or Judaism or Islam or Buddhism, what we are talking about is what all religions hold dear, and that is to do unto others as you would like them to do unto you. I am here tonight, and I'm running for president. I'm a United States Senator from my great state of Vermont, because I believe that. Because I believe morally and ethically, we do not have a right to turn our backs on children in Flint, Michigan who are being poisoned, or veterans who are sleeping out on the street. And what I believe as the father of 7 beautiful grandchildren, I want you to worry about my grandchildren, and I promise you I will worry about your family. We are in this together.
Senator Sanders. Let me just follow up. Just this weekend, there was an article I read in the Detroit News saying that you keep your Judaism in the background, and that's disappointing some Jewish leaders. Is that intentional?
No. I am very proud to be Jewish, and being Jewish is so much of what I am. Look, my father's family was wiped out by Hitler in the Holocaust. I know about what crazy and radical and extremist politics mean. I learned that lesson as a tiny, tiny child when my mother would take me shopping, and we would see people working in stores who had numbers on their arms because they were in Hitler's concentration camp. I am very proud of being Jewish, and that is an essential part of who I am as a human being.
Denise has a question for Secretary Clinton. Denise?
Yes. Secretary Clinton, during our church services, we pray for the President of the United States, we pray for the armed forces, we pray for all civil authorities 3 times during our liturgy, and we give thanks to them. We pray for our loved ones, we pray for our enemies. To whom and for whom do you pray?
Well, I have been several times in your services and have joined in those prayers, and have also been privileged to lead them in some settings. I pray very specifically for people whom I know by name, people who either have gone through or are experiencing difficult times, illness, divorce, death, disappointment, all of the life experiences that confront most of us. I pray for the will of God to be known so that we can know it, and to the best of our limited ability, try to follow it and fulfill it. I have said many times that, I am a praying person, and if I hadn't been, during the time I was in the White House, I would have become one, because it's very hard to imagine living under that kind of pressure without being able to fall back on prayer and on my faith. So I do pray for people in authority. I try to think about what they're going through, even when I disagree with them, trying to find some common ground, some common understanding that perhaps can make me more empathetic. I don't always succeed, I will tell you that. So I pray on a pretty regular basis during the day, because I need that strength and I need that support, and especially when you are in the position that I'm in and that Senator Sanders is in, where you are asking people to vote for you, to give you the most important job, not only in our country, but I would argue in the world. I think humility is one of the most important attributes that you bring to both that seeking, and then if you're fortunate enough to that holding of office. And that's what I will try to do.
Thank you, Secretary. It's time for closing statements. You will each have 1 minute for a closing statement. Senator Sanders, we begin with you.
My father came to this country at the age of 17 without any money, never made any money. We lived in a 3.5-room rent-controlled apartment. So I learned about economics, not just in college, but in living in a family that didn't have money, that had to scrape by. We are here tonight in Flint, Michigan, because a horrendous tragedy is taking place. But it's not just in Flint, Michigan. We have 29 million people who have no health insurance. We're the only major country on earth that doesn't provide paid family and medical leave. We have school systems around America that are collapsing. And yet we are the wealthiest country in the history of the world. But most people don't know that, because almost all of the new income and wealth is going to the top 1%. I believe, in all due respect to my good friend, Secretary Clinton, that it is too late for establishment politics and establishment economics. It is too late for a corrupt campaign finance system and super PACs that raise enormous amounts of money from special interests. We need in this country a political revolution where ordinary people stand up and reclaim the government that men and women fought and died for. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Secretary Clinton.
Well, I'm running for president to do my very best to knock down every barrier that stands in the way of America really realizing its potential, and every American having a chance to live up to his or her God-given potential. We have a lot of work to do. We have economic barriers. That's why I've laid out plans for more good jobs with rising incomes. We have barriers that stand in the way of quality health care. That's why I will build on the Affordable Care Act. We have barriers to education. That's why I want to start early and provide debt-free tuition and deal with student debt so that it is no longer the burden that weighs down so many young Americans. And I do want to take on the barriers of systemic racism. I may not have experienced them, but I see the results every single day. So I'm asking for your support in the primary here in Michigan on Tuesday. I'm asking for it, and I will do whatever I can as the Democratic nominee to run a campaign you'll be proud of. I don't intend to get into the gutter with whoever they nominate, but instead to lift our sights, to set big goals, to make it clear that America's best days can be and are ahead of us.
I want to thank both the candidates. While we've been debating tonight, CNN has learned that a labor union fund has committed $25 million in low-interest loans to help replace lead-contaminated pipes. I want to thank the candidates, the Democratic National Committee, our hosts here at the Flint Cultural Center, and most of all, the people of Flint. Just 2 days from now, it's another Super Tuesday when Michigan and 3 other states hold primaries. We'll have all-day coverage. On Wednesday, we'll simulcast the next Democratic presidential debate. It'll air on CNN in English and on Univision in Spanish. And on Thursday, CNN hosts a Republican presidential debate in Miami, the last one before the critical Florida and Ohio primaries. We'll have full analysis of tonight's debate in 1 hour.